Hey there, everyone. Happy November. Giving you a late October vlog. Apologies that it's late. I've been really busy with assembly. In fact, that's what I want to talk to you about today. A little bit off what I usually do. I usually talk about design stuff, but today I want to talk about assembly stuff. Putting together games for a small print run. This is a little different from doing like a big bulky 1000 print run because when it's at a scale of like 50, it's a lot more tempting to just do it yourself, some of these components. So I kind of want to talk about that experience today. Mostly I've been putting together copies of Conviction for the indie night market at PAX Unplugged, which I'll be at later this month, so I hope to see you there. And first lesson is to order your components very much ahead of time because sometimes things are delayed a lot, and sometimes even after the delayed thing arrives, you discover that there is an issue and you need to reprint it. And you don't want to be stuck in a situation where you have to do like a rush order. Like, for example, we ordered these First Bite cards for Green Printer, and I would highly recommend Green Printer. Like, huge recommend. Very eco-friendly. Pardon me, just grabbing some stuff. Very eco-friendly printer. Very fast. Very responsive. Faster than any other printer. The only thing is that they have to print in kind of bulk. Relatively, like they're more economical when you're printing at least like 50 or something like that. Even better at bigger print amounts, but regardless, they're excellent. There was just one thing. For some reason, there was like some weird like issues with some of these. Only the first card of these decks. And they were very great about sending us replacement. They even rushed it, but like, can you imagine if it was like a print and play or something, or like grain crafter? It would have taken forever. So that's one thing. Another is that sometimes you could save a lot of money by getting really creative about how you order the components. For example, we were looking at ordering these rule books off of Green Printer, and initially ordering like I was ordering like 150, and I was getting quoted like $450 or something like that, which honestly reasonable compared to other printers that I was looking at. But what we actually ended up doing is that I figured out. I don't have any more because I stapled them all, but each of these spreads is actually a flyer. I ordered them as flyers so it's like 4 different flyers, front and back, and I stapled them together myself, and that saved us about like $300, or maybe it was $400, I forget, and that took like about a day of stapling. So if you're looking to save some money that way, you could do something creative like that. It doesn't work for everything. For example, like the rule books for these games are a little bit bigger, and for some reason it was not as economical to do it with this size, these 3.5 by 5 inch rule books. So sometimes you have to hunt around. Another way that we got creative to save money was that to order these, we were ordering these cards, and at first we were getting quoted to order them separately, and it was like, I don't know, it was like $1,000 or something like that. And that was to have them like wrapped separately as like separate decks. But with Green Printer, you could order them as like one giant combined deck. So like I ordered the decks for Tootin' and Hollering and Duck Duck Choose and What Does My Rival Desire all as one humongous deck. And they let you order it at no additional cost. So we ordered them as huge combined decks, and that saved us like 50% or something like that. And so then I just wrapped each of the decks in like tissue paper and washi tape. So another way we save some money on assembly. Another thing is that these are the tokens for conviction. I dyed them myself. We bulk ordered these little tiny wooden discs that were just plain wooden discs. And I got some, just a second, I'll go get it for you. Okay. Nothing happened, I was gone, right? Okay, so I got some of this like RIT dye, and I just put like a splash of it in some water and soaked these tokens in it. And that's how I got these little guys. See? All right. And that's what I'm assembling with conviction. Like so. You can see me hand assemble it live. Or not live. This is a pre-recorded. Skadoosh. We got ourselves a copy of Conviction. All right. All right, let's see. So along these lines, along this like custom token dyeing, order extra components in general. There have been so many times where, especially like with this dyeing process, some of the tokens get damaged from soaking in the water. So like have extras. There were so many times when I was like, oh, we ran out of sand timers because some of them were defective or something, or like we actually got extra cards, so we actually had enough to make extra games, but we didn't have extra of the other components. Having extras saves a lot of headache of like having to stop your workflow and get the extra components and leaving your setup. Like this is my workstation. I had to leave like a big mess that was like weighing on my mind because I like had to stop in the middle of my assembly because I was missing some random components. So just have extra components ahead of time. It'll save you a lot of headache. Oh, really, you really want to do the math on how long it takes you to assemble these, because like sometimes when you're like thinking about it, it's easy to be like, oh, like it doesn't take me very long to print and cut a rulebook. Like about 15 of these I printed and cut myself, but like that turned out to be a really bad idea for a few reasons. For one, like that whole process took like I think 15 minutes per rulebook, and I was printing 100 of them, so it was going to take me days to do it, which was okay, but it was kind of intensive work putting together rulebooks, and to do that for days straight. Maybe one day is reasonable. That was about my tolerance for like stapling these rulebooks and for dyeing these components, and that stuff wasn't that intensive. It was just like something I could do while watching TV or something. But assembling these rulebooks was really intensive. It was going to take me several days to do it, so that was one downside. Another downside about printing stuff yourself, you want to collate how you print it. Could be tempting to print batches of pages one at a time and then like assemble it later. But the thing is, your printing quality will change in between ink cartridges. I was having a problem where rulebooks later were getting like faded. I had to toss out a lot of prints because like the quality was so different from other print runs. And that could be because your printer's not used to printing like 1,000 pages. It could be because the ink cartridge changed. If you collate it, then you at least have like some consistency and style across your pages, and yeah, it'll look nicer. It'll be a lot more work, but it should give you an idea of how much effort it's going to go into it. I would be careful about anything that takes several pages of printing or cutting per game, because that will scale really fast. It'll get really out of control real quickly. Oh, one last thing I forgot to mention. To save money on ordering boxes, we ordered these Midnight Market boxes and printed like sticker labels onto them. So we could get these nice boxes that we ordered in bulk, but we get to like tie them to the game with sticker labels that we attached onto them. That was a way to make it stylistic, but still like economical. One last tip is if you have a printer that prints on glossy paper, for some reason that makes everything look so much more professional, and I can't explain it. And one final tip, do not take any offers from the Fae to get your game into a online market because they may turn your life into a haunting game that you cannot win. I think that might be it. Here, look. Here's a Duck Duck Choose What Does My Rival Desire? And here's Toot and Hollerin'. Yeah, that's about it for there. For this month's Unranked game highlight, I want to talk about Sockol's Thieves Dilemma. He created this game where you are thieves trying to collaborate to steal like stuff but also bribe to keep the heat down, but you're also able to steal from each other. And there's like a threshold of how much goods you want to steal, but there's also this shared like objective to keep under this threshold of like heat so that your whole group doesn't get busted. And it's like a simultaneous reveal kind of deal. And what's interesting about it is that he's made it so that when you reach certain thresholds of cards played, then the action gets canceled out. Like too many people were trying to bribe and it was too suspicious or something and that didn't work. Or too many people were trying to pull off a heist and it failed because of that, and so no heist occurred. So this creates interesting situations where there's like two layers of Yomi on this, right? There's like the layer of Yomi of like, can I successfully steal the thing? But there's also the Yomi of like, is everybody too cooperative? And is that going to cause our bribe attempts to fail? So during our play, it kind of invited this level of cooperation because we didn't want to be mutually destroyed. So I'm curious to see how it develops in regards to that. But it was another thing that I thought was very interesting was that I was giving some feedback that I felt very weird that like sometimes to make sure we stayed under that threshold of cards, stealing would be like the most cooperative action. And I was saying that felt very dissonant to me. And he was explaining that this was like one of the many like little bits of like chaos that he incorporated to make sure that players were not able to be too cooperative when approaching the game, because previously there was like a do nothing or like even a give action, and like the game kind of just became devolved into like a very cooperative play kind of experience. So I thought that was very interesting. Excellent game. I love to see more of these Unranked games coming out. All right, in terms of my personal updates for my games, not too much to report. I've just been assembling these copies of Conviction for the Indie Night Market at PAX Unplugged, so I really hope to see you there. I'll be testing a bunch of Lunar Punk stuff there, so if you're interested in Unranked games, you should go find us there. I've also been making some tweaks to Unraveled. That game is pretty solid, but I'm just trying to figure out subtle ways to get like more info about the roles of the players leaked. And I'm going back to an old thing I had before where every time you examine a piece of evidence that is linked to your role, then you have to kind of tag it. I'm just gonna give it a try. And also removing the bonus objectives. It was just, it felt too distracting. The game's got too much going on to have like that layer. And to be honest, they weren't particularly interesting. They were kind of distracting too much from like the core loop and fun of the game. So I just decided to cut it. I'm blanking. I shouldn't be multitasking. I'm changing the flow of Unraveled as well. Just changing the way that, because the way I was having it so that you could place a magnifying glass on the deck to pause the game was giving a little bit too much control to the sleuths, and I think I still want them to have that control, but I kind of want them to feel like there's more time pressure. I was going to let the, I was going to flip it so that, yeah, I'm not sure. It's the thing that I'm still playing with. I haven't quite figured out how I want to address it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Art for Bread is still tinkering along. Yeah. Hope to catch you next time in December. Please go to PAX Unplugged. In terms of, yeah, I don't know if I have any other major things coming up in November. Aside from the midnight market that's happening this weekend, make sure to catch these hot puppies there. There's also going to be Pyrotechnics and What If I'm the Devil there. 4 really excellent indie games to check out. I brought this to Girl Scout camp, and my daughter and her friend really thought it was hilarious. Lots of fart humor. Yeah, wait, check it out. Bye. Yo, I actually forgot about one other piece of big news. A little birdie told me that Persuasion is expected to be available this month. So keep an eye out for that from Hollandspiel. Yeah, I'm super excited about that. Everything happening all at once. All right.